Hello and welcome. Today we are tackling one of the biggest headaches for any cat owner, getting them to use the litter box every single time. And don't worry, whether you've got a brand new kitten or you're trying to teach an older cat new tricks, we're going to walk through it all, step by step.
Look, we've all been there, right? You absolutely adore your cat, but when their business suddenly becomes your business to clean up from the carpet, well, it can test the patience of a saint. It's a super common problem, but the good news, it's almost always fixable. So, here's our game plan. We'll start with the absolute basics for kittens. Then we'll get into the keys to success that work for any cat, including one golden rule you just can't break. After that, we'll tackle the unique challenges of adult cats, and we'll finish up with how to know when it's time to call the vet.
All right, let's dive in with the little guys, kittens. If you can get these first few steps right, you're building a foundation for a lifetime of good habits. The whole idea here is to make the litter box completely effortless and inviting for them. First off, you need a box with low sides that their tiny legs can easily get into. Next, you literally have to pick them up and place them in it a few times so their brain makes the connection. And finally, stir the litter a little with your hand. It seems weird, but that mimics their own digging instinct and basically tells them, hey, this is a safe spot to do your thing.
Now, here's a tip that might feel a little strange at first. For the first day or two, don't be in a hurry to scoop the box clean. I know. But a kitten uses their own scent as a beacon, telling them, this is my toilet. Leaving a little evidence in there at the very beginning actually helps them find their way back to the right spot.
Okay, so the foundation is there. Now it's all about reinforcing those good habits and making sure they really, really stick. You know, cats are creatures of habit, which is great for us because it means their bathroom schedule is actually pretty predictable, and we can use that to our advantage.
And this is where that predictability comes into play. There are 3 perfect moments to look out for. Gently pop your kitten in the box right after they wake up from a nap, and do it again right after they finish a meal. And of course, if you see that classic sniff and squat pose starting somewhere it shouldn't, just calmly pick them up and move them to the box. It's that repetition that locks in the habit.
You know, this might be the single most important part of the whole process. Every single time your kitten uses the box correctly, reward them. A little treat, some verbal praise, a favorite toy, whatever it is, that positive feedback is what makes them want to do it again. It turns the litter box from just a toilet into a happy place.
Okay, here's a super simple but brilliant fix for those stubborn accidents. If your cat keeps going in the same corner of the living room, don't fight them on it. They've already decided that's their spot. So instead of trying to change their mind, just work with them. The easiest solution is often to just move the litter box to the place they've already picked out. Problem solved. All right, I really need you to listen closely to this next part because you could do everything else perfectly, but if you get this one thing wrong, all your hard work could go right down the drain. Let me be as clear as I can be. You should never, ever, under any circumstances, punish your cat for having an accident. It doesn't matter if it's a tiny kitten or a full-grown cat. Yelling at them, scolding them, any kind of punishment, it's not just cruel, it is completely counterproductive.
And here's exactly why. Punishment doesn't teach your cat where to go. All it does is teach them to be afraid of you. It creates a ton of stress and anxiety, which ironically can lead to even more behavioral problems. Positive reinforcement, on the other hand, that builds trust, makes them feel secure, and creates a confident cat who's actually willing to learn. So kittens are one thing, but what if you've brought home an adult cat, maybe even a former stray? Well, the challenges can be a little different, but the end goal is exactly the same. And here's the good news. Everything we've already talked about, the positive reinforcement, finding the right location, and especially the no punishment rule, all of that still applies. But when you're dealing with an adult cat getting used to a new home, you're gonna need a couple of extra tricks up your sleeve. One of the best strategies for a new adult cat is simply to give them options. Start out with at least 2 litter boxes and place them in different quiet, low-traffic areas of your house. This lets the cat show you where they feel the safest. Once they've clearly picked a favorite, you can usually get rid of the other ones. Now, this is really important. We have to figure out if your cat is having a bathroom accident or if they're doing something else entirely, urine marking. Marking isn't about needing to pee. It's a cat's version of leaving a message. It's an instinct to claim territory or, announce their availability to other cats. And yeah, both males and females can do it.
So if you realize your cat is marking and not just having accidents, you need a different game plan. What's the best way to handle this very instinctive behavior?
Well,
For the vast majority of cats, the single most effective solution is getting them neutered or spayed. Since marking is driven by hormones and mating instincts, the simple procedure is often the key to stopping the behavior in its tracks.
And the benefits here are huge. Not only does it usually solve the marking problem, but it can also lead to a more mellow, even-tempered cat. And maybe most importantly, it prevents a number of serious diseases, which means a longer and healthier life for your friend.
But what if you've done everything right? You've been positive, you've provided pristine litter boxes, you've ruled out marking, and it's still happening. Well, that brings us to our final and most critical step.
At some point, you just have to consider that this might not be a behavior problem at all. If it looks like your cat is straining or seems to be in pain when they're trying to go, that could be a major red flag for an underlying medical issue.
So let's make this crystal clear. If your best training efforts are failing, your next stop has to be the vet's office. They can check for common things like urinary tract infections that can cause these exact symptoms. For the health and comfort of your cat, this step is absolutely non-negotiable.
And really, that's the best way to look at this whole situation. An accident isn't your cat being bad or rebellious. It's communication. Your cat is trying to tell you something. Maybe they're stressed, maybe they don't feel secure, or maybe they're in pain. Our job as their human is just to learn how to listen.